Hi, this is Wayne again from ATSG, and I'm here to talk to you about how important it is that your cooling system for the transmission is in good operating condition. Whether you have a high mileage vehicle or a low mileage vehicle and you experience transmission failure, catastrophic failure of the transmission will get into the cooling system and clog the whole cooling system. So now when you go to replace the transmission with a REMAN, it won't be very long before it'll overheat, and if we don't have good cooler flow, we don't have lubrication, and without lubrication, your planetary system inside the transmission will just blow up, and now you're going to have another catastrophe on your hand. And the cooling system has gotten to be quite involved because they're now adding thermal bypass valves to the system. So if you do not have a way to heat up that cooling system with like a hot flush machine, you will not open the thermal bypass valve and then get into the very tightly webbed to be able to clean these systems. Now this is what a typical radiator looks like, where the fluid would go through the tank and the transmission would go through this tube like here, and it also has a very tight webbing, and you would have to reverse flush and reverse flush to be able to clean this out. When you have what this is called a heat exchanger, this is much more involved because most people do not have the equipment to be able to connect to this and flush it. So if you're going to be reusing a heat exchanger, guaranteed you're going to have overheat condition and a lack of lube, and your transmission will continue to fail. Here's one that's out of a Ford vehicle. This is where the transmission fluid comes in. You can see it has a thermal bypass valve and it has a heat exchanger, everything right here in one unit. And if you can't open this up and you can't clean this, you're just going to ruin your transmission. So you would need to have to replace these type of components. Same thing, you have the thermal bypass valve in the cooling line system. This would be a Chrysler. Here's one for Ford. And then you have what's called solenoids that actually control the flow of coolant to the heat exchangers, and these solenoids will allow the fluid to go, allow the coolant to go there to cool, and sometimes it'll stop the coolant from going there to help the transmission heat up quicker. So these solenoids can fail, and now you could have no cooler going to the heat exchanger, and that would be another reason for transmission failure due to an overheated transmission. Overheated transmission means lack of lube. Lack of lube means no move. You must inspect and take care of your cooling system.